So welcome to the Node.js N-API Team meeting for the 30th of September 2019. We'll follow our standard agenda, which is to go through our issues tagged for milestone 11. Before that, does anybody have any announcements or things that they'd like to share with the rest of the team?
No.
Okay. Go to the milestones. Right, so the first thing we have tagged there is building add-ons with CMake. And I know, Jim, you were going to take a look and I saw you made some comments, but you want to just sort of bring us up to speed on where the discussion is on that?
Sorry, Michael, could you share the thank you.
Doing it. Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I created an example on our examples site and then left a note there linking to it. So CMake is definitely a viable alternative to Node.js.
And it's today, like, sorry if I'm asking silly questions, but it looked like it was using CMake.js.
Correct.
So it doesn't require you to install the native CMake to be able to use it?
I believe, no, I believe you need the native CMake also.
Okay, so CMake.js is a wrapper maybe around.
Correct.
CMake.
And so CMake is a dependency. So you still need to install CMake.
Okay.
But it may be the only dependency that it has.
Okay. And the so basically, okay, you have to install that one extra dependency. Otherwise, it'll work just like any other add-on. It'll be pulled in, automatically built, and just work. Okay.
Yeah. Now the thing is any of the users that are using it would also need to have CMake installed along with their toolkit. So that, but in my comment, I also mentioned pre-build as pre-build now supports CMake as a backend. So if you do if you're using GitHub and you do just a little bit more configurations, then you can update upload binaries to GitHub as releases,
right?
And then those can be downloaded, kind of like what Node Prejip does.
Right. Now I guess CMake, like with Node.js, you need just make. Is that?
You need make, but then you need Python. You need Python too.
Okay, so you need make, and so those, I guess, like on OS X, for example, you'd have to install Python.
Although, OS X comes with Python 2 installed.
Okay, I'm just trying to explore the difference in experience between today and if people switched over to CMake.
Yeah. So if somebody had like a Mac system and they had Xcode installed, they'd have everything that they'd need for Node Prejip.
Right.
But for CMake, they would have to install CMake.
Okay. And I guess similarly on say Linux, you would have to install something. You'd have to install, make sure make, I'm pretty sure make's already there, but you'd have to install Python.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
on Windows, on Windows, there is Windows build tools. It's an installer that you can install through npm, and it installs all the necessary C++ for Windows, and so the compiler and even if the Python.
Okay. So basically on Windows, it would look like an extra install too.
Yeah, but it was always like this. So Windows always needs some extra from the beginning.
Right, but I mean, for Windows, you would install this extra thing. Does it include what you need for CMake, or is that then an additional thing you'd have to install?
No, you need CMake is additional.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah, you need to install even if CMake. I'm not sure that the package that I mentioned install CMake.
Okay.
I can check.
How I don't know if either of you came across this. How easy is it to figure out that's what you need to do? So I go, I say npm install. I don't have CMake installed. It's going to complain. Does it complain in a way where it's obvious what's going on?
I have not tried that.
I think that you can digit the command on the shell and you get an error.
Right. I'm just wondering
if you don't have CMake installed,
right.
and it is not in your execution path. So
right.
Yeah, it's simple. Create a utility to check these status.
Right.
I think.
I'm just wondering, like, if it's how friendly is it? Like, does it say, oh, we notice you don't have CMake and here's where you can get it, or does it say error 5 and you're like,
Right.
I don't know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can try that in a couple environments, Michael, and
okay.
Report back next week.
I mean, that might even be something that should be in CMake.js, if that's
yeah.
But us, like, if you have time to look at that and then maybe contribute something back, I think that would be because that's probably the best we can make it, right?
Yeah.
Sort of like, hey, it's clear what's wrong. Oh, you need to install this. And if tons and tons of modules needed it, then it would probably be installed by default after a while. So
yeah, but then
go ahead.
I was going to say if people if maintainers start using pre-build, then it becomes much less of an issue.
Right, then it doesn't matter at all. You don't need Python. You don't need anything else.
Correct.
Nice. Yeah, definitely.
And for sure, Windows build tools that I posted on chat don't install doesn't install CMake. So you need to install by yourself on Windows.
Okay.
So.
Okay, well, yeah, Jim, if you're going to take a look at that, we might as well leave it open. Is there anything else you think that we need to do on that front, or is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about initiatives for NodeCore and how this affects that.
It's kind of a different. It's kind of a different thing in that we don't have to tie together what we build NodeCore with to how native add-ons are built.
Okay.
Although there is some synergy in that it's nice if for example, if we're building NodeCore with CMake and we have expertise with that, maybe it's good that modules are built there.
Yeah.
The flip side is we can probably change NodeCore, but we can't change all the existing modules, right? So it's I don't think NodeJip and Python dependencies and all that are going to go away anytime soon.
Right.
But they do sort of figure, there was an issue. Let me see if I can find it. We'd really like to figure it out, but the net is we haven't figured it out. Where was like NodeJip? Or I'm going to look one other place and then I'll say get it, but no, I can't find it. I mean, I'd opened this in the past, the strategic initiative to move to CMake for building Node.js. And Ben Norhouse is looking at that. I just don't know how quickly or where he's at right now. But that's one of the options that is being considered. Like GN is the other one that's been mentioned. I haven't heard too much about that recently. But,
right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I think it's definitely good that, if we can clarify, here's how you would do it if you want to use something different, and you've done that. And I don't know, is there anything like links on the Node.js N-API repo that makes sense, or documentation for NodeCore that would make sense? I almost wonder this whole, like the pre-build, the Node.js. I wonder if we have enough documentation on that in general in the repo.
Right. And do we want to encourage people to use CMake? You know, make that the preferred way if you're starting new modules.
Right. Yeah, it might be a bit early to that, but that's the kind of discussion that we should have, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking, like, if nothing else, maybe in our current repo.
Yeah, we have CMake.js on Node.js N-API documentation.
Right. Okay.
Now.
Right. So let's
I post the link.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
On setup.
Chat.
Under setup. Yeah. Section.
Okay. Right.
Below. Here you are. No, under setup.
Oh yeah, right there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's
right.
Basic, already basic. But yeah, we have some. Maybe we can add some notes if for developers that want to use CMake. Maybe Jim, if you can, you can use your experience and share it in this part of documentation.
I will do it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm even wondering if, like, at some point, Node API docs. Like, we got this, and we have. So we got, but that's NAN. Okay, so I'm just wondering, like, nowhere in here does it talk about
Node.js. So
Node.js or CMake.js or even pre-build, those kinds of things.
I don't remember that we have this reference on the core documentation.
Because I'm wondering if that would make sense, just as a. So here, I'll create a new issue because I think.
All right.
Consider.
And we need to decide which tools we need to document, because I think that we cannot document every tool.
No, I think it would be like, you know, the common workflow, and it may not even be documenting all the tools. I could see like links to tools and stuff, but sort of here's how do people typically build add-ons, right? Like even well, you know, the most common way is people just have them build out on install, right? And, you know, here's, you know, the things that do that build, or CMake and Node.js, whatever. And, you know, the alternate, which is sometimes used, but, you know, different, is people will actually use a pre-build and ship binaries. And I think some documentation that explains that and has some references might be might be
Mhm.
good. I don't think we'd have pages and pages because it's not in NodeCore, but it does fit with the how do you, when you're trying to ramp up, how does this stuff work, right?
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
would be happy to write that stuff, Michael, if there
Okay.
were if there's a place for me to hang it.
Yeah, so I would say let's, like, if we look in here, this is the Node.js documentation.
Also, Michael, we have
Yep.
an attendee.
Oh, sure. Let me find that list. Participants. Hello, Juan. Hello. So I guess what I was going to do was suggest somewhere, like if we look through this in here, this is where I could see it going in.
Yeah.
And even like we should probably think about updating these add-on examples. I wonder how many of these even still work.
There
Anyway.
is a section there called building near the top.
Right, okay.
yeah. Yes, here we have the reference to Node.js. Yeah, yeah.
So that maybe it's this section where that would fit into, right?
Yeah, maybe that could be expanded out a bit.
Yeah. So that's under, because yeah, that is the generic, not related to NAPI or whatever. So yeah, I think that's probably the right place. Here, I'll paste that into the.
Yeah, I think the same, because it's the same thing for an API and for the classical API. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then, we could, if it makes sense, link from Node add-on API back to that section. But okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
So I did that.
Did you put that on our milestone? Oh,
I
okay,
did.
great. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
just so
Okay,
that
good.
we'll remind it and be talked
Yeah.
about it.
Okay.
At some point, we might want to, like all the other groups have like an agenda tag, and we generate agendas. You might want to switch to that, but because we're going to be on milestone 11 forever. But it works, but sometimes maybe I always think, should we change? But then it's more work. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything more on the building add-ons with CMake before we move on?
We're good from here.
Okay. So the next one was NAPI WASM bindings. Right. So this one, okay, yeah. So there, I guess it sounds like had only got so far in his proof of concept, and even Ali's kind of moved on to another project. I'll have to follow up. I did get a link from Ali with some of the stuff that they'd worked on. I just need to ask him if I can share it publicly here. But it's too bad. So nothing other than that to report, but I'll try and if that, he sent me a link. I just want to make sure that he sent it with the intent that I could share it with everybody.
Okay.
What should go into NAPI 5? I don't think there's really anything to talk about on that front other than just things are moving through. V8, there isn't going to be a SEM minor, so we won't get into 8. Nick, you wanted to add something?
No. It's okay. I confused the issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one, I think it's moving through. There ought to be a new 10.x release. And actually, what's here? Mark stable. Okay, well, I've approved this one. And so hopefully that'll land. Okay, I'm just going to put this. Okay. oops, sorry. Do we need some additional async worker variants? There is the PR
and
add async
I
progress
think
worker. Sorry, go ahead.
Today or in the weekend, we received update in this PR, so
Okay.
we need to review.
Okay, yeah, I think it was actually a little while ago. There was, yeah, like a couple of weeks ago. So we definitely need to review. I did. I thought I was a little worried that some of the standard locking might have been too new for some of the older compilers, but it seems to actually run and built fine. So I guess not, which is good. And yeah, if we can just take time to review a little bit more in detail, that would be good. Okay. The workshop.
So I'm continuing on the tutorials.
Anything of interest, challenges, or just working away?
Just at this point, I've got all the outlines and I'm just starting to fill in the text. So
okay,
that's pretty much where we're at.
Michael, I think that we need to create slides for the first part of the workshop.
Right. That's a good point.
So
yeah.
I can start from the slides that we used in last year in Kilkenny at NodeCore, and then I will share with all of you with Google Docs, and then we can collaborate to a review, the slides.
Yep, that sounds great. Thanks for volunteering.
Okay, I want to modify something, adding what we did in the last year, and some add some introduction materials about native Addon. But I know that we have a small piece of time for this, so yeah, I will add only few slides.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good idea, and especially highlighting some of the new things like the thread safe functionality.
Yeah, context,
I mean, it's pretty much like
for the native Addon.
Yeah, it's sort of like since the last time where we got feedback and worked with people, these are a bunch of the things that we actually have worked and accomplished.
Yeah,
I think there's thread safe and a few other. There were some other things like the improvements to the async worker, and so. Yeah.
So yeah, you can edit the issues, so we can. Okay. I need to add async worker progress, thread safe function, and context awareness for, okay, sure.
I'm thinking async worker improvements.
Improvements, yes.
And then thread safe functions.
Right.
Yeah, it's the first point.
And we also had function and object references.
Sorry, what was that? Function and object references?
Yes.
Well, and some building, right? Like building was that pre-build? I'm trying to remember when you did the work on pre-build.
Yeah, pre-build was done after is not on the workshop yet, but it's on my list.
Right. So let's you know, that's a nice way to say one of the things we did. Oh, and there's a workshop piece here, right?
Yeah.
Can I suggest something?
Yep.
Yeah.
Will be nice to leave kind of a invitation to join these meetings. So, I mean, more people could actually make improvements on this kind of thing. So it will be nice to leave an invitation to join, you know, this kind of, get involved with the right thing.
I think we've had that in the past ones, but definitely want to make sure we always do that. So good to note it.
And I could help with evaluate this content because I'm new at this, and I could help, you know, making maybe some corrections or improvements on the way you communicate that pretty complex stuff. And I think I could help with that.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Okay, and I think that we already did in a private mode. So you only need to send me an email, your email. So I will invite you when I will end the first release of the slides.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Okay.
I think the other thing you can do if you have time is actually, you know, we're developing some new workshops, but again, like you said, being a little bit newer to it, if you went through the workshops and could give us feedback, that'd be very valuable too.
Yeah, that's the idea, actually. Yeah, of course, I could help.
Okay, sounds good.
I think that the link is in this issue. The link of the workshop.
Right here, those are the existing ones.
Yeah. So maybe you can use these tutorials and give us a feedback, improve.
Yeah, and then as I'm sure as Jim builds the new ones, he'll add the links in as well.
Yes.
Taking notes.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, the next ones, I'm just looking to see, oh, wait a sec. I think I'm now not on Milestones anymore. So here we go. Okay, don't think there's anything. Is there something new here?
Oh,
right.
Yes, this module finally has been published using the N-API. It was a porting that I did almost 1 year ago. So,
okay. Excellent. So even in 7 days ago. Okay, so now that's good. So it looks like still sort of moving along on that front. That's good. SQLite port, Jim?
I this week I did not make progress on that, but
okay.
I'm hoping to get back to that this week.
Sounds good. List of issues raised by module owners. Are there any hot ones that?
No, nothing.
Okay, I'm not. Oops, sorry. No. Okay, I don't even see any really open new ones, so there we go. Let me go back to the list. Sorry, there we go. Okay. And I guess that's it on our list. Anything else that we should talk about this week?
No, I want to just add that I'm working on some tests. So on value and string.
Okay.
And yeah, I only want to add this. That's it for me.
That is, I guess that reminds me of the one that I briefly talked about before, which was this one. I guess, like, how many people are planning to be at the Collaborator Summit?
I'm planning to be there.
Yeah, the same.
Because one thought, like, there's this call for a code and learn. I wonder if it makes sense to propose a session where basically it's a code and learn on working to create new tests for Node Add-on API. And I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, right? Like, it would be kind of like a little bit of an intro, and then, hey, can you write a test for this one? Can you write a test for that one? And then, we'd work with people as they tried to write tests.
Yeah, it's a good idea because we have some simple tests that we didn't write.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can use the code on layer to explain how to create a new test, and yeah, I hope that more people could be involved in this project.
Okay, so it's like, it sounds like you might be interested in helping to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, because we need a little bit of organization in terms of, here's the list of tests that people could work on, and we'd have to put together a bit of an intro, that kind of thing.
Yeah, because we need to prepare the some materials, the list of all the tests that that.
I'm gonna find that one. Well, I may not be sharing just a sec. Hold on. That back.
We have a matrix.
Right.
We have an issue.
So I'm just trying to find that one. No, test.
Methods without corresponding tests.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in this here, the 332.
This one, okay, right.
Yeah.
So let me just. Right, so this is probably still fairly up to date, right?
Yeah, I just edited some parts that we added, and now I'm working on other stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, an API value and API string.
So there's quite a lot of things though here, right? So
yeah,
we should easily be able to keep people busy.
Yeah.
In terms of, okay.
So it would be a question of prioritizing.
Yeah, we could prioritize, yes. Like, which would we prefer people to work on first,
right.
even you're right, would be a good. So let's say, would want to. I guess, do we need, short intro to the tests frame, how it runs, how tests come out, how to run.
And what people need to have installed, perhaps.
Okay,
yeah.
So intro.
Prerequisite, yeah.
In fact, we probably want that share that in advance, right?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Anything else?
But I think that is the same for Node, because when you make a pull request for NodeCore, you need the same, exactly the same thing for the native John development.
Right, okay.
So yeah, I think that is the same.
Right, we just need to find that list somewhere. Yeah, it definitely runs native add-ons there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just take a quick look. How much time do we have? Oh, we still got a few minutes. Okay, so let's look at, just reading through, like, how do we actually submit a session? So here's a session proposal. So I mean, there's going to be a bunch of us there, and it sounds like this is something we could do as long as we think it's a good idea. I could just create a session. We could create it right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Because yeah, if we can get some people excited, interested, and it's a concrete thing, it's doable. So. Okay. What would we call this? I don't know. If anybody's come up with stuff which is good, sounds good.
Yeah.
That's broad. I should put in a link.
We have our ABI commitment.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. The safety net may continue to make it better while ensuring we preserve API stability. Yeah, except I think we've tried to make it a little bit less, like the C ones, like definitely stable. This one, I think we've tried to make a little bit more flexible, since it only matters when you rebuild, not when the modules, right? So maybe.
Yeah. Although if there are underlying changes that affect it, then they would come out in the testing.
Yeah, ensuring we don't. But something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like we still strive to avoid anything that's breaking. The worst case, we would do it. We haven't had to, but
yeah.
Okay, help us broaden necessity value. Okay, that's potentially. Any other things that you think will excite people to come out, make them think it's important?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if we want to communicate the idea that you'll get a quick win. You know, that it's not burdensome to get to a point where you can actually see results.
Right, that's a good point. There is an existing list of small and manageable tests that lead to have added. Come work on one of these with the help of the team building and something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And CMake N-API.
Sound good? Oops.
Yeah.
Any other key things we should call out? Oops, describe the session. I did that. Topic of the session. Maybe I can just move that there.
Yeah.
I don't want to make it too long. And actually, I can probably add the link to here.
Right. That would be interesting.
Yeah. Oops. Is this the one? Yeah. Sound good? Anything else I should add?
Just, I think it's an easy, yeah, I think it's an easy way for beginners to contribute.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of the code and learn. It's like, okay, maybe you haven't done anything before.
Yeah.
But here you can come and do something concrete and it's useful.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, here, I'll actually submit it and we can see what it looks like because I'm sure I can edit it.
Yeah, maybe under the topic, just add something. It's a good way to get started, or good opportunities for beginners.
Okay. This session is a good opportunity for beginners as you don't need too much context or.
Yeah, you don't need like broad knowledge where it's focused, maybe something along that line.
Yeah, because we'd like people to know a little bit of, like you probably do need to be able to write C++ code.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Or those who don't know. I don't know if I want to say don't know C++. But
Yeah. Yeah.
those who are rusty. Let's see.
Yeah.
Who could that be?
Yeah, that's like, you know, lots and lots of people, right? That's us. That's certainly how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those
Yeah.
who are rusty with C++,
Oh,
to contribute to
Yeah.
Node.js on a small focused task.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that get across what you're?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
C++ and but no JavaScript.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it a proposal? So they need to accept these.
Yeah, I think it's more than that. Like, I think what they want is a bunch of proposals, and then they're actually going to ask potential attendees which ones they're interested in.
Okay.
So you need to have people say, "Oh yeah, that sounds interesting, and I'd like to go to it."
Okay.
Otherwise, you know, they'll choose the ones that people show interest in.
Mm.
So it's the first of its. I think this is like
Yeah,
the first of this style.
There is
of
an
one.
error. There is only an error. So Node.js API, the link.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, okay, I see that. Got it.
You missed the I.
Yep. And there's a spelling error. Appropriate. Boy, I can't do anything.
Yeah, nothing like writing with everybody looking over your shoulder.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Gets fixed more quickly. Well, let me edit that again. What other things are underlined that are red? Okay, I think
Okay, seems good.
And the link works. Let's make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this one. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Or are we happy with that one?
I think
I'm
it's
happy.
a good start.
But, yeah, it's a very good start. But I will think that will be very valuable. Trying to teach these people who is rusty and to push them to read the documentation, because when you are very new in something, you used to follow tutorials and do not understand something, what is happening behind that. So it will be nice to read official documentation, like a source for learning. You know, you're learning for the official source of truth, not anyone else making tutorials. So it will be nice to push people to read documentation, and that could maybe create new contributions to improve documentations.
So like
or
this
maybe
is what
not necessarily read the entire documentation, but will be nice to quote the documentation. So, you know, sometimes reading documentation is actually pretty hard, maybe too technical or something like that. So it will be nice quote instead of, you know.
What do you mean by quote? I'm not quite following.
Oh, quoting is like as Shakespeare said it once, you know, and quote. No?
So I'm trying to, okay, now I'm trying to refine the, okay, it's open. Sorry, yeah. So you were saying you should not ask them to read it, but do something else. Sorry. Like.
Yeah.
So what I just help me. So it's what did you mean by like quote it, to like skim through it, or?
Like for example, if you want to define what a stream is, you could make a quote of string definitions of the official documentation, because I actually feel that reading documentation is pretty hard. Years ago, if some person told me read the documentation, I won't do that because it's pretty hard. So it will be nice to, when according the official documentation, a stream is quotes and the exact definition of stream.
So maybe I could say if you want to prepare something like this.
I'm watching.
Yeah, Michael,
Sorry, yeah.
didn't. Okay.
I'm trying to get. Yeah, I don't know why it's moved. Yeah. Trying to get to redoc.
Point, I'm thinking that could be useful add a section on our official documentation of the API explaining how to add a new test.
Right, that would be handy.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna
do you want to do this?
I think that would be a good prep. So let's, okay, why am I? Sorry, now I'm back in the. Right, sorry,
I put a quote on the chat.
Ah, okay, hold on.
So
Stop
you don't
share.
have to.
Sorry, I'm trying to share the right one now. Share, I think this one. No. Sorry, having problems. Okay, this one. So let me find your in the chat. Where's my chat gone to? Or chat, okay. Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's a quote. So
okay.
You don't put the documentations. If you want to learn more, please read the documentation.
Testing will be on. See, now that's the core one. Testing will be on the.
Yeah, slash.
Let's go this way. Does that sound good? And then I was going to, so that's this guy. Over here, we can say for proposal. And also suggested we write a doc on Adding a test. I think that would be very useful to do in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, here that probably goes above in here.
We can open, yeah.
Okay, so is that any other, those were good additional comments? Any others, things we should add?
Yeah, looks good, Michael.
Okay, and I will tag this so that we talk about this one too. I already did because I think that's good.
Okay. Yeah.
And definitely, like, if it looks like it gets accepted, trying to get that doc in would be good. And okay.
Yep.
Okay, I guess if that's it for this week, thanks for everybody for their time, and we'll talk to everybody next time.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. See
Yep,
you
thanks.
next week.
It was great.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.